Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me well. My name is Simon Coulombe. I'm an assistant professor at Wilfrid Laurier University in Waterloo, Ontario. I'm the moderator today for this webinar. I use he and him pronoun, and we're really happy to have you with us today. Welcome to this webinar. I hope you can hear me well. You can hear our panelists well also during the meeting. But if at any point there is any technical issues or any problem on that side, feel free to use the chat window to ask any question or to tell us, oh, can you speak more? Can you speak louder, for example, or if there's any issue. So thank you for joining us today for this webinar, LGBTQ2S plus inclusion in campuses. It's a webinar on campus climate and best and emerging practices for LGBTQ2S plus inclusion. As a more kind of introduction to our webinar today, I just want to note that we use the term LGBTQ2S plus to mean lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, two-spirit, as well as additional gender and sexually diverse identities. The webinar is offered as part of the study LGBTQ2S+ Thriving on Campus, promoting the acceptance, well-being, and academic development of LGBTQ2S+ students throughout Ontario. Like I said earlier, I'm Simon Coulombe. Feel free to chat and ask me questions. I'm a community psychologist by training, and I'm doing research focus on the well-being of LGBTQ2S+ students in partnership with Dr. Michael Woodford, who's the lead researcher on the Thriving on Campus study. And he's going to present to you a bit more information and some exciting findings from the study as part of the webinar today. Before we move to the content of the webinar, let's take some time to do a land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge the sacred land where we work, learn, and live, which has been a site of human activity for 15,000 years. This land is colonized land, the territory of Indigenous communities. Here in Waterloo, we are on the Acknowledgement tract, the traditional territory of the neutral, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee people. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work in the community and continually strive to be allies to Indigenous communities. We pay respect to all Indigenous people from all nations across Canada. We acknowledge the traditional knowledge keepers, both young and old. And we honor their courageous leaders, past, present, and future. So please take a moment to silently acknowledge the land on which you are located. Thank you. So today, how it's going to work is that we have 5 presentations, starting with some findings from the Thriving on Campus study presented by Michael Woodford. And then we would have different practitioners, people doing work in higher education related to LGBTQ2S+ inclusion in campus climate will offer a presentation. So the first one, after Dr. Woodford presenting on the study, the first one would be Tamira Mohammed from the University of Guelph. She will discuss terminology, including systems of oppression such as cisnormativity play out on campuses. David Pereira from the University of Toronto would then talk about gender-inclusive campuses, sharing strategies and best practices. Lauren Burrows from Laurier will share wise practices for supporting racially and culturally diverse LGBTQ2S+ students. And our last speaker will be Jared Sanchez-Cacno, also from the University of Guelph, who will highlight best practices for pronouns and navigating digital spaces. How it's going to work is that each speaker will have about 15 minutes. And at the end of after all the speakers are done with the presentation, we're going to have some time for a Q&A period. you are invited to type down your questions in the chat window. All the attendees will be able to see your questions, and also they're going to be associated with your name, because of the way the system is done. It says the question is coming from that person to the group. So just for you to be aware of that. But yeah, as people are speaking, you're invited to already type down your questions if you want, but we're going to go through the list at the end in the Q&A questions. You're also going to be able to add questions later during the Q&A period at the end. I hope it makes sense. I hope it's clear. If there's any issue, feel free to chat enter any question in the chat window. Without further ado, the first speaker is my colleague, Dr. Michael Woodford from Laurier, the lead researcher on the Thriving on Campus study. So Michael, I'm sharing the screen with you now.